it's just going to take me where it needs to go. So what I want you to do, sinking and settling here, closing your eyes, and imagining for a moment before we dig into this journey much, I want you to really think about a quality of yourself that's lovely and beautiful, and a quality that's maybe not as much. I know, normally I would not encourage you in a meditation. We would go all light and all beauty and all radiance. But what I really want you to do today is take a look at some possibly oppositional ideas inside yourself. And this is not an encouragement, so I want to be very clear. I'm not encouraging you to go deep and insulting to yourself, right? Judging. That's not where you're being encouraged to go. It's very factual. And wait, kind of just like I did this morning. I'm not walking around, crying in my coffee because I realized that I can be a, little shit because I already knew so. So I'm not encouraging you to kind of go deep in terms of self reproach, but rather just awareness. So bringing that into awareness for yourself. And I want you to just pick like a thing, because our meditation will be relatively short. So taking a nice inhale in and releasing that out. I love audible exhales at the start of a meditation, so we're going to do it again. Inhaling in, exhaling it out. One more for good measure. 3 is a magic number for me. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Sinking and settling. Relaxing and releasing. Noting any tension or stress across your forehead. Releasing that. Releasing any stress or tension on the outsides of the eyes, your jaw. And dropping the tongue from the roof of your mouth. And counting from 5 to 1 as I do so, I want you to imagine dropping deeper and deeper into your relaxation. So 5, relaxing and releasing. 4, trusting the release. 3, more deeply relaxed in this moment. 2, sinking in. And 1, deep, peaceful relaxation. Breathing here, gentle, steady breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Imagining yourself on a mat, floating on the ocean. You're anchored in place. You won't float away in shallow water that's just gently ebbing and flowing as the tide comes in and goes out again. And maybe you can smell the ocean, dip your fingers in the water. Water is beautifully warm, clear blue. And then again, as you imagine that mat experiencing the waves as they come in and go out. Just breathing here. If ever you get lost, returning to the breath. As thoughts come and go, interrupt your visualization, you might just notice that and then again release it. And as you pull up that idea about a challenge that you might face, a personal aspect of who you are, the lightness in you, the beauty, the radiance, as well as the parts that are still in process that make us human. And having the skill to notice those things without being emotionally attached to them is so crucial to our well-being. So in your mind, go into that space on your mat in the ocean, floating comfortably as the ocean waves gently roll you back and forth. And imagine that you can see that aspect of yourself in the ocean. Maybe it's a story about a time where you were struggling with this aspect that you've called forward. And what I want you to do is imagine that story in the ocean and just notice how you're above it. That mat is actually holding you above the story. And that's keeping the emotions and the experience just slightly disconnected from you, where we can notice without judgment. And now calling forward a quality that's beautiful about who you are, a strength. One of the ways that you most radiate your love and energy into the world. Call that up. And see that too in the ocean as a story. It could be a color, a texture, it can be anything. And now just holding that notion as you float again on that mat on top of the ocean, slowly rolling back and forth, anchored in place, not floating away. And on the one hand, I've got that peace, that darkness, that challenging quality of myself in the ocean, whatever that looks like for you. And now I've also got this other component, right? This beautiful component of who I am that's also there. And I'm just breathing here. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Pausing here for a moment with that light and dark part of ourselves in the ocean, riding over that on our mat, noticing the waves. And what I want you to do for a moment is just plug into your breath with the ocean waves. So in time with that gentle rolling, ebb and flow, plugging into the breath. Seeing and experiencing the darkness and the light of each of us underneath those mats. And what we begin to notice is that our light and dark parts all really meld together. Like the ocean, it's not a single drop of water. Each of us is the ocean. Each of us is made up of a comprehensive and complicated blend of beauty and challenge. And without one, there cannot be the other. So the beauty of stepping into the darkness is that it amplifies the light. Inhaling here and exhaling out. So as you're lying on that mat, taking in the gentle waving motion of the ocean, you can also imagine being rocked, held and supported. Nurtured and protected. And the lesson in this space is that we can experience the dark and the light together in a way that we don't have to engage in. It can be about clarity, insight, and not pain, reproach, criticism. But rather we're elevated in a way that we can take that lesson with us and continue to grow, shift and transform as we need, knowing that we're beautifully made up of both, the light and the dark. Honoring both here. On an inhale and an exhale. So our intention for this practice is that I am fully aware of my light and dark aspects. I completely accept and love all of the aspects of who I am, perfectly imperfect, that which is the richness of my humanity, living that in a way of honor, clarity, and awareness. And now, lovingly and gently, wherever you are, you can rub your legs for a moment with your eyes still closed. You can rub your hands together, wiggle fingers and toes, do wrist rolls if you like, just in your own way, coming back into this space a little bit at a time, imagining the space that you're in again, feeling the weight of your person on your seat or your chair, wherever you're sitting. Just coming back into the space. Dropping your chin to your chest. Gently opening your eyes. And coming back into the space. I have no idea how long that was. Because I just went in. I was just in this zone. So thank you so much, you guys, for showing up and engaging in this meditation. I hope that it, like I said, what I hope it's doing for each of us is paving that way into acceptance of ourselves, seeing the parts that we can continue to grow in, and also the parts that are really working, and not doing it from a place of judgment and criticism, which I think is very hard for us. Like when I was listening to my audiobook this morning, I was definitely having flashbacks and images of times where I was probably being more the beast version of my goddess internally than I was the beautiful aspects. And there was a minute, like I said, it was really hard. It was like really icky to sit, like, oh, ooh. Right? I get it. And one, those things are in the past. Nothing I can do. Places where I needed to apologize sometimes, I did. But really, it's my own awareness that if I can sit and look at it out here and go, oh, that's how I know when something is probably amiss. Because in my most aligned place, I'm not going to show up to people that way. That's not how I want to be wired. How am I doing on time, you guys? Not bad. Including a meditation, not bad. And so I just wanted to leave you all with some sense about that balance and recognizing that even seasonally we're in this place. Today I'm doing the changing of the guards. I'm going to go in and do the clothing change. I don't know if anybody does that. I'm moving into my winter stuff now. It's getting cool enough where I'm like, oh, I need some of my stuff out again. So definitely my booties. I'm super excited about getting my booties back out. And so, you know, just it's that time of year, right, where we get to reflect and consider, you know, where are we? How are we doing as we head into this darker stage? Can I make a place of beauty for that, right? It's exactly what Sarah talked about in her post. And I asked her permission, by the way. I didn't just like throw her under the bus. I was like, can I share your story? And I loved her picture of this really stark tree and this black and white image, and her talking about accessing the beauty in the anxiety through her eyes, like through the photography, and how that's one of the ways that she is engaging some beautiful energy in. So it just doesn't feel all dark or all light, right? And that's really kind of the sweet space for all of us that I hope that we engage in, is that was a beautiful example of a way that we can sit in the balance. And that's really what I want you to think about. So we kind of had our really like beautiful week here of equinox, and now we're going to head into where it's like, oh, we're kind of definitely tipping more into the dark. And so this is a time where, much like the moon phases, and I am not an expert on this, but much like the moon phases, I think we can really dig deep in the darker parts of, you know, areas that I want to work in, right? It's like, I think kind of, you know, then when the moon gets fuller, what we're doing is we're illuminating a lot. And so illuminating things, and then the darkness is sort of, for me, like almost like the work time. We're almost heading into like a work time. I have been ridiculously working, like so much. And so my energy is like, whoa, I'm all into the work. And so we're kind of heading into that state of it's a different time of season, right? So there's even emotional and mental work, energetic work we can be doing seasonally, which I know sounds kind of wackadoodle, but it's actually really true. We're sort of wired for it. It is ancient wisdom, and it's why people are still talking about, you know, the moons and how people behave with that, or different ideas, you know, things like the equinox. Like, so for a week, I'm tipping from one point to the next, and we're in this very sweetest spot of balance. That's really what we're getting at here. And so I want you to be thinking about, there's a natural flow to humanity. There's a natural flow to our energy. And so embracing some of these ideas in this season is like really helpful and can help us grow and have some insight and clarity. So I want to just throw that out there for you guys for something to think about. And hopefully that meditation, again, takes you to a place where you can sit with both, right? And so that's really the idea, is how can I sit beautifully, this blend of all the feelings, all the thoughts, all the aspects of who I am, all the aspects of you are the ocean. You can actually rise above it. You can be sitting on a place where you can notice it without judgment. Because when I can notice without judgment, I don't have to pick on myself. It doesn't have to be a criticism. And what it does is it allows me to know the areas that I might want to spend some time in. None of us is ever going to show up perfect. We're going to have bad days. We're going to show up, and there's going to be minutes where we are going to be ugly. I've had mine. And so I'm not promoting perfection. That does not exist. But rather, can we embrace the parts that don't feel, right, as lovely? Can I nurture those parts that don't feel as lovely? Can I take care of them and love them rather than having them feel like they're like my polar opposite and like my enemy? Our bad parts are not our enemies. Our bad parts are reflections of old stories and things that are kind of lingering for us, or ideas, concepts. That's when I look at my, internal Durga stuff, trust me, friends, that's when I look at the ugliness that pops out, it's coming from a place of anxiety, stress. I can look and say, why is that there? Why is that showing up? She shows up when she feels like she has to have her dukes up, right? That's my fighter. I've definitely got her internally for sure. Like I was like, oh, listening this morning, good insight, good insight. So she is there, man. And sometimes she has come a knocking in a way that is not something I'm proud of. And that is my humanity, right? I can see both. So that's really what I want to encourage you to think about in this time of year. It's really what I want you guys to take in and love and nurture, because I think we are all made of both, honestly. So anyway, that's where we are. Again, I went through the different offerings I have coming up. If you've got questions, please feel free to ask anytime. And like I said, there's that goddess quiz. It's super fun. It's just fun, and it's got great material with it. And so those are all free things you can access through my website. So I'll try to put that link below when we're done talking. And I wish you all well. I hope you have a week where you can spend some time embracing that light and dark, right? Spend some time engaging in it, and even maybe do the meditation a couple of times. Like go in with that meditation and do a different thing each day. Like, right? It's like what, 10 to 15 minutes, I'm guessing. Go in each day, like just get to that point, right? What I should do is I should narrow it down for y'all. If I can, I don't know if I can pull off this video, but if I can narrow it down and stick it on YouTube, then you can just go in and listen to the actual meditation. But go ahead and fast forward to that and listen. And each day it's like pick an aspect, a good and a not so great, a good and a not so great. How can I sit and understand that all of those things create who I am? They are all the parts that make me rich human. I'm a being having a human experience, right? I'm a being having a human, I'm not a human being. Well, you are, but you're, rather than a human doing, be a human being. And what you're going to do is show up to that experience and spend time in the complicated nature of who we all are and how we're wired. Hi, Sarah. So I want you to kind of go in, if you'll take the challenge and go in and do this meditation a couple times. See if you can't sit in that. And see if you honestly, and here's the challenge, if you want me to be deep, this is my coaching coming in, dig deep into what comes forward for you. Because my speculation is that if you did these meditations for a week, you'd come away going, aha, aha, what pieces seem to be showing up for me? And not in a mean way, not in a judgmental way. Again, it's not judging it. It's not disrespecting it. It's awareness. If I'm riding around on my mat, I can look at everything underneath me in the ocean with just loving awareness. What do you learn? Because you are going to learn something about yourself. I will guarantee you, if you spend time in meditation, contemplating these ideas, you will learn something about yourself. And that will prompt change, clarity, etc., transformation. When can I use those bitchy parts, friends? I have bitchy parts. She is like got all sorts of like, trust me, sometimes my strength can take on a really ugly place and form, but can I take and use that? Hell yes. That's what I'm getting at. How can I take and transform the parts even when they're not super beautiful? One, honor them, and then two, how can I use them? That's what I want you to use those meditations for. So if you're willing to take them over the week, do them several times. Let's just see what percolates. Let's see what comes to the surface. I'd be shocked if you did not learn a little something about yourself. But learn how to really embrace that piece, because I just think that's really crucial. And I think it's nurturing. And I think we can do it that way instead of from a space of being critical or unkind, right? We need to learn self-compassion. We need to learn how to sit with ourselves. And if we do it at a little bit of a distance, I find it easier to sit with. And so that's what I'm encouraging you to do. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I will have some things kind of floating around. I'm going to probably talk just a little bit about that chakra sign up at some point. If you guys want to join me for Tuesday class, whatever else, Lord only knows. I'm just going to say, I don't even know yet. All right, friends, have an awesome week. We're almost to the 1st of October. I can't believe it. I'm ready to get my Halloween gear out. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So excited. Gonna go do changing of the guards of my clothing between summer and fall. See all the things. Getting ready, nesting. I feel nesting. Does anybody else feel this right now? Oh my gosh. Like cooking and baking and cleaning and organize. I am like in a zone, and I think it's literally seasonal. It's just been this incredible, like, things are changing, and so I want to get in and do the same thing a little bit. So transformation can be beautiful, my friends. So anyway, let me know if you've got questions or anything. Otherwise, have a beautiful, blessed week. Again, taking some time to spend in that idea of balance between the dark and the light, and how do they both really help us be our best selves, right? How do both of those things show up? So I challenge you, if you take the challenge, let me know. I would love to hear what your experience is, and we will see you next time.